Frogs. Are they worthwhile buying? I'd say so. And I'll let you know why. Here on Aaron's Outdoors and More. Alright, third subject here. Let's go over how I fish them. I know everybody fishes a little differently, so all this is tips and pointers of how I use them. I mean, you can fish them however you like, but this is just what I do. So, you start off here. Start off with your basics. So your basics. How you get one. First thing I would recommend, and I've seen a lot of other people on YouTube talking about this, is when you get one, you pull a brand new frog out of the package, look at how long the legs are. Super, super long. Which I fished them for a couple years. I mean, honestly, never trimming them down until I actually went online and I seen a video about it. But take them, trim the legs up. If you trim those legs up, most people will tell you to go about the length of the frog. Go with body length. Trim them up to the body length of the frog. Which is good. It does work. It'll make them move a little better. That, and if you have these real long legs, if you're fishing open water, something like that, and that fish sees it, they're going to come up, odds are 9 out of 10 times. If you're not getting a good hookup, they're probably nailing just the legs of your frog. They aren't actually getting up here. They're not hitting that hook. If they're not hitting the hook, you're not getting any hookups. So, trim the legs. Either the length of the body, or once you get a little more experience and you start learning how to walk a frog, so then that means you're fishing it and you're pulling it across. You're making that frog go side to side, so you're walking that thing. In order to make it walk better, and it definitely does work, trim the legs up a little shorter. Don't do drastic changes. Just trim them up about 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch at a time until you find it where your frog, you can pull that thing and just pop it and go boop, boop, boop. Get that thing to walk for you. The better it walks, the bass just love it. Bass, northern, other toothy critters, love it. But, poppers, throw them out. When you throw those out, you're just going to want to take your line. Just kind of give it a light tug. Don't go too heavy. Just enough to get it go pop. You don't want to pull it, back 3-4 feet, nothing like that. You just want this thing to move ahead a couple inches at a time. All you're going for is a couple inches at a time. And these things, actually, these popping frogs, these jawbones, cheap little guys, like I said, I got from Dick's Sporting Goods. These things walk amazing. They're the easiest frog to learn how to walk a frog with. But yeah, just take those guys, just yank your pole a little bit, and boop, boop, and they'll pop down, and they'll go side, 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 side. And depending on the fish in your area or time of year, sometimes a little faster retrieve. So you're going to want to pop it a little faster, boom, 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 boom. Or you want to slow pop it, just pop, let it sit. Pop, let it sit. Pop, let it sit. Trial and error. That's all I can say on there. There is no definite answer on how to exactly fish these things. But that's just what I do. You got to try it out, feel it out. Then you get your cone shapes. Like I said, I like to throw these in heavy duckweed. Duckweed or heavy weed cover or wood. These, same thing. You trim them down. The shorter the legs get, the easier they are to walk. But these things, oh man, they will go anywhere. And they do not get snug up. I mean, I've cast over tree limbs, stuff like that. And usually 9 out of 10 times, they're going to pop right over that thing. Just awesome, awesome frogs. SPROs? Oh, I don't know if I'm a big SPRO fan, though. Because the SPRO, the body on these things is a lot stiffer than what your BooYahs are. BooYahs, so soft and supple. And to me, I've had more hookups on the BooYah than I've ever had in these SPROs. These SPROs, I mean, they're just so hard. You got to have a heck of a hit for a bass to be able to push that body down. That's one thing I wish SPROs would change. Body design, I like, but just the body feel. I mean, there's so much tension there to be able to squeeze that down to get your hooks to come out. Scum Frog, on the other hand, completely opposite. That thing is so light and soft. They even got this recess. That way when that fish comes up and their lip hits right here, boop, they're coming back. As soon as it comes back, it's getting hooked up. Caught some nice bass on these things. And just like the jawbones, kind of like the SPRO. They're kind of halfway between a SPRO and the BooYahs. They're not as stiff as the SPRO, but they're not as soft as the BooYah. But they do hook up, and they do hook up well. So, last and final subject I'd like to go over with these things, if you're considering buying any, is longevity. How long do they last, and what happens as time goes on? Well, I got this guy that I kind of retired, because you get a new one, but I guess I ain't got no new ones out here, but take the SPRO. The bottom's going to be all colored up. Not going to be clear, not going to be nothing, all colored up. This guy, like I said, one I retired out, but you can just tell, just by looking at this guy, which is a little older, he's also been used. Look at that. The paint will start to come off. Coloring on the eyes will come off. Does the paint coming off and the coloring affect anything? No. Fish, bass, northern, they don't care. They're still going to nail the thing. Get to the other side. Well, this guy here, this guy's new. So this is what your underside looks like on a new one. So it's all white. This one's partially used just for a few months this year. Dragging across those weeds, it starts to wear the bellies out on them. So the paint will come off on your bellies. Does it make a difference? No. Fish don't care. They still nail these things. And like I said, this guy here is retired. Caught a few northern with him. So you start getting cuts and stuff like that. Once you start getting cuts, I fished this guy probably a year and a half, and he's wore out. I mean, once you start getting those cuts like that, they start filling up with water. They start to sink, and that's what you do not want with a frog. You do not want them sinking. If they start sinking, that's no bueno. And the BooYahs, they actually, if you look here, actually have this little hole in the ass end. That's actually for the water to come out. That's great compared to your SPROs. Your SPROs, you look at that, there's no hole. The only way that water comes out is either through this hole here, where your hooks come out, or up through the nose. 9 out of 10 times, it's only going to come out of this side here. So these guys, when they fill up with water, they don't drain as easy as the BooYahs. And these guys here are $10 a piece. Compared to your BooYahs, $6.99. I would go BooYah all day long. Because you get that exit hole for the water to come out there. You still got your bottom port here, the water can come out. And they never seem to take on water. I've never had a BooYah take on water. Not very much anyway, just slight amount. But yeah, I mean, you start fishing these guys too. You notice how the legs on this one, they're all stuck together. That's going to be natural. I mean, you go out for a day of fishing, you pack up, you take off. Say you want to go out the next day, you're going to pull your frog out, your legs are going to be stuck together. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're rubber. You get the water, you get the weeds and stuff like that. They're going to stick together. Good thing is, all you got to do is just rub them together a little bit, and they'll start to come apart. Make a few casts, they'll come right back. They'll be right back to your nice frilly legs again. And these things, I just still can't get over how realistic these things look when you're fishing them through the water. But yeah, I would say a good frog. I mean, me, I go out. I'm an avid fisherman. I'm out every weekend day I have, and if I take off of work, that's where I'm going. I'm going fishing. So these things will last a while, unless, like I said, you start getting into toothy critters. Because you start getting toothy critters, you start getting cuts and stuff like that. Them northern will eat these things up, but they still fish fine. So there you go. There's my little bit of a rundown on frogs. I love the things. I obviously, I mean, if you can't tell, I got quite a few, and this ain't even all that I have. I still have a few extra other ones, but they're all the same brand, just newer ones. But yeah, I would highly recommend fishing the frogs. Go out, get one, try it. Start off with one, and then, yeah, it eventually becomes an addiction, and you wind up with a pile. But I hope this was a very informative video for you. I had a lot of fun making it, so I'll see you guys on the next one, and stay tuned for some clips, some fish caught on these guys right here, because they are fish slayers if you get in the right spots. Have a good one now.